The concept of customer research begins with a new research campaign. As you can see here, I've got a campaign started. I'm pretending that I'm in the ski business. I'm looking at new features for a ski lodge. I want to know what people think about some of these ideas before I spend a lot of money chasing them down. This all begins with segmentation. I'm going to leave research for just a moment and show you the segments that I've created of my customers. Good segmentation is really related more to what customers think, how they feel, and what their goals are that they want to accomplish. But just for this simple example, I've shown you a few female segments that I've come up with so you can see the difference in numbers. So as you can see here, I've got an all-female segment, just in Colorado and just in Denver. I can create a new segment by clicking on this button and naming it. So for this example, we'll do one kind of like we see here, males in Colorado. Then all I have to do is use these filters to lock down my target. So we'll start with getting all of my male customers. And as I begin to create the filters, you'll see information pop up in this gauge. So I can kind of tell what I'm getting into as I make my selections. Once I make a selection, my gauges reflect immediately how many customers are in my database that match my filter. So I'm going to add another filter here for state. As you can see, based on my selections, it's naming the filters for me. Should I type in the full name? Should I type in the short name? This gauge helps me determine which type I should type in. So in this case, I can see that I need to type the short names, and my results come back. I can see I have 49 people in my database who are in Colorado, but when that's run against the gender filter as well, I run only 30 people. When my research begins, it starts with either an NPS or a Kano survey. NPS surveys are really good for a single question to see if your users believe in your brand and if they would recommend it to another person. It's a great way to get a pulse very rapidly from your audience. The Kano survey is designed around features. I want to come up with what features I think are going to be the best for my users and then get real detailed feedback as to if those are really good features to go after or not. So let's take a look at this Kano survey that I've already created. I'm going to take a look at the questions. And as you can see here, I built out several questions all related to some features I've been thinking about putting in my lodge. I want to know not just if this is something people would like, but how would they feel if I had this? How would they feel if I didn't have this, and how important is that? This is an example of the advanced form of Kano. And so as I create these questions, warm slippers, how would you feel if you were given a warm, sanitized pair of free rental slippers to change into when you got into the lodge? That doesn't sound bad at all. So I came up with these questions, and some of them are kind of silly, but I wanted to see what my users would think. I can preview what this is going to look like. So I can actually see each question and how it appears in my preview for my customers. And then I've got the ability to send this out. I could use existing segments that I have. Building these segments allows me to tighten the message that I send out. So perhaps I'd want to send to all the females in Colorado. I can pull that segment up and I can send to all of those people if I want to. As you can see, it's added them all in. I can remove individuals. So for instance, perhaps I know this person did not want to have anything sent. And then I can choose to go ahead and send to all of the rest of them. And with a click, out it goes. As an example, I've already sent this survey out to some test people, about 7 of them. I've got responses now, and I can see the details of each of those responses here and when they arrived. And, most importantly, I get a breakdown of what my features meant to these people. I can see through Kano research which features are delighters. In my case, having supermodels greet these people when they return to the lodge would be a delighter. They don't have to have it, but they would think that was really unique and interesting if I did. The personal fireplaces at each table was also something that would delight people. They don't expect it, and that's exactly what makes it a wonderful feature for me to look into. Down here I found some surprising results. If I tell people they're not allowed to have skis, it didn't really make them that mad. They were kind of indifferent to it. And if I had video reviews playing of their ski day up on the TVs in the lodge, that was also something that really didn't matter much to them. However, what was interesting is, if I were to provide warm slippers to these people, they would hate it. So that's an interesting little feature that I thought would be something really pleasant. In my case, I asked all males, and that may have something to do with it, or there may be other factors. It comes back to segmentation. I've got other reports that help me determine more about my Kano research. What's really important is I can see how important each feature was. So even though the warm slippers were something that people would dislike, it's not that big of a deal. I can see it's a 2 on my importance chart. So this helps me determine which features I should pursue and spend money on. This is just a short example of what you can do with customer research. If you would like more information or want to try out a demo, please visit www.aspenware.com/customerlabs, and I'll be in touch with you. Thanks so much.